Land of power, land of might, exceptional rage, endless fight, patriot bulldozer, leading the way, crushing all foes, making them pay. Flag in hand, fury in eyes, screams of pride, ignoring lies, iron grip, ruthless and cold, American dream, fierce and bold, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart, no retreat, no surrender, bulldozers force, a savage offender, red, white, blue, burning bright, in the chaos he finds delight, blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed, the theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade, bulldozer, savage again, legend made, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart. Blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed, the theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade, bulldozer, savage of fate, legend made, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Dozer Den. If you haven't yet smashed the like button yet, we'll go ahead and give that darn thing a good smashing. And if you could repost this stream here on Rumble, on pill.net, on the X machine, wherever you can, repost it. Repost the stream, guys. Helps the channel grow. Commenting in the comment section is also caring, guys. Thank you to BTN Podcast for rating this episode of the Dozer Den over there on pill.net. I appreciate you. And guys, follow me in all the places. We are creeping up in follower numbers. Gosh darn, what are we at right now? I think on the user profile, it's 1227, but including the channel, we're at like 1478, I believe, creeping up on 1500 total followers. And you guys are a large part of why that happens. I appreciate you guys sharing the stream out with your friends, your family, your ex girlfriends, boyfriends, Zers, and friends. I'm not judging. Just keep it consensual between adults and preferably behind closed doors. If you didn't know, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We usually do about 3 to 4 news topics, palate cleansers sprinkled about. Saturday streams are usually a bit of a hangout stream, a decompressed stream. For all you amazing killdozers here in the Dozer Den, we might have 1 or 2 official topics, but for the most part, on Saturdays, we take music video requests for the Dozer Den DJ Hour, where you can rock out with your cock out, jam out with your clam out. Those are the only 2 options, and if you're intersex, I ask that you please pick a fucking lane. There's only 2. Just pick one. It's a very, very good idea. Guys, if you didn't know, any episode of the Dozer Den, if we hit $50 worth of donations, I'll put on a fancy hat. If we do $75 worth of donations, I'll put on the shades and do a pretty mean Macho Man Randy Savage impression. And if we hit $100 worth of donations, well, I have a Bucky the Beaver outfit over there that I might put on, but I also might just put on another hat. A hat atop a hat. It's hatception, some might say. Main purpose of the channel, guys, information, entertainment, infotainment, some like to call it. If you feel like mixing words together. What is up, Salty Zipper Tits, Dawn Darkstar, and Singlant? And thanks for the red pill and the repost over there on pill.net, Salty. Appreciate you. And we had Sheriff Hector and Chops iTeams. He, I think, red pilling and reposting over there. I saw 2 Wild Irish Rose reposted us on the X Machine, so thank you so much for that support in whatever way you are able to support the channel. Reposts, likes, comments, sharing, following. Guys, those are very, very free ways. Not so free ways. Rumble rants, gifted subs, donations over there on Pilled, like the cookies, the shades, or the can, or the telephone. There's a bunch of different, I don't know what those all equate to, but you can subscribe there. You can and you can subscribe here on Rumble for a measly $5 a month. And the dozerden.locals.com. If you do the dozerden.locals.com, honestly, it's the best bang for your buck. You get yourself, well, heck yeah, Salty Zipper Tits just gifted a 1-month bronze tier subscription to Into Bushes. Very, very nice, Salty Zipper Tits. Appreciate the heck out of that. Hell yeah. Is that $5? That's like $5, isn't it? Thank you so much for that. I do not deserve that, but I sure do appreciate it. Makes this duck over here kinda happy, guys. Happy duck. I'm not really sure why they go for. Well, $5.99. Thank you so much for that, Salty Zipper Tits. I hope the duck played. Did the duck play? Really hope it did. I tried to play the duck. It's a happy duck with the drums. I don't know if it played. Looking at it on my phone, it doesn't look like it did. Well, this is sad. Darn. Into Bushes claimed that 1-month bronze tier. Hell yeah. My URL. Yeah, it sure shit did, didn't it? Oh, the duck did play. Sweet. Good. This makes me happy. I don't understand why Rumble... So does that mean it's going to rewrite the other one? Yeah, I see that. I really hope it doesn't record over the last stream I did. That would make me sad. Bob of Atlantis saw the duck. Thank you for duck confirmation, Into Bushes and Salty Zipper Tits. I appreciate you. Thank you for confirming duck. Ducky is important. Okay, that's that duck was happy about that gifted sub. Fan freaking tastic. That gets us $44 away from Fancy Hat Goal on a Monday evening. Oh my gosh. And by the way, guys, last Saturday was a banger of a stream. Thank you guys for the support. I don't deserve that, but I do appreciate it. We do have some topics tonight. Oh, I am on YouTube tonight. So We might get a copyright strike for the second topic of the evening. But the first topic of the evening, guys, 59 years ago today, the USS Liberty was attacked by Israel, our greatest ally. There's strong evidence to indicate that they knew it was a U.S. ship based on communications. And the soldiers on that Navy ship saying, please, for the love of God, we're friendlies. Stop. Yeah. So we're gonna listen to Thomas Massie's speech on the House floor today, where he talked about it, read it into the record, gave some. I think there were 12 veterans there that were on that ship as it was being attacked. I think 34 sailors died, and up to like 100 and I want to say 30 something were injured. Not a good look, and apparently Lyndon Johnson might have been involved with authorizing the attack. I don't know. It looks like it would end up being it was a act of aggression that ended up being covered up by our own government and the Israeli government. They still have like a piece of the ship or something like that in Israel, like one of their museums. One could say that it looks kind of like a victory piece. I don't know, but the Jews did it. The Israelites did it. I don't know if they were secular or religious Jews, but they probably happened to be IDF. So take that for what you will. What's up, Harry Toe? What's up, Jixter Trickster? Bob of Atlantis, Singlant, S. Henson. If I have not said hello to you, no ill will or slight intended towards you, but I do appreciate you being here. We have no allies right now. It's just us. Yep. I would kind of agree with that. Jixter Trickster just says screw the Jews. It's not all Jews. I won't be that guy. I won't be that guy. It's not all the Jews. It's not. I do not like the government of Israel right now. Not at all. They do bad things, and it's lovely to see Trump get a little bit of a spine and say, "Bibi, you crazy son of a bitch! What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you dare attack Lebanon again! Don't do it, Bibi! Bibi, I swear, if you do it, I'm gonna smack you right in the nose with this rolled up newspaper. You don't want it. It's not kosher. I rubbed it in bacon grease. Okay." Apparently, that's what happened. And you know what? Good. Get all that wood cut? I cut it up into logs, Jixer Trickster, and I made a chair at the very end of the stream. Haha, yes. Big old stump. The wrist and the hand of the old maple tree. Oh, the stream disconnected and reconnected. Damn. On pill.net. I got it cut up. I had to sharpen the blades, and, the teeth, they were quite dull. Then I oiled it, then I refueled, and then we got after it. We finished it out. I got it all cut up, and yes, I made a chair. And I sat atop the chair. And if you look at the thumbnail for that stream, it is, yes, a crown was added. The crown was added. Ooh. Just a second. Okay, pilled. All right. Stream's disconnecting and reconnecting over there on pilled. My goodness. 7.5 Trump voice, but it's a true story. That's it. It sounds true. But here's the problem. Every time Trump has those moments where it's like, that's the guy I voted for. That guy right there is the one I voted for. And then within like 24 hours, he makes a post on Truth talking about how great Israel is and how smart Bibi is. To fucking credit to Trump, I don't think he's done that yet. Good. Because that was getting old. Like out there in front of the White House when they were about to board the helicopter, the chopper, he said, "They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Seriously, they really don't." And then within 24 hours, he was on Truth talking about how great Bibi was and how great Israel was. And it's like, you were right there. One moment of independence, when getting away from the leash, just a little bit more than I wanted, what I expected. And then it just goes right back. And it was like, damn it. But this time it seems like the independence is staying. I hope it is, because Mark Levin is sad. And if Mark Levin is sad, I'm happy. Because Mark Levin is one of the most disgusting human beings on the planet. I would like Mark Levin to leave this country, go over to your homeland, Mark Levin, because that's where apparently your bread is buttered. You go over there to Israel and you have yourself a good time with the Sand People. Join your fellow tribe. Join them. Have a good time over there, Marky Mark. Let me tell you something, Mr. President. How dare you turn on the Jews? What are you doing? What do you think about that? Huh? Oh, you Jew haters. I don't know if that was a good Mark Levin or not. I don't like that man at all. You trust the process? That's guys, the serenity prayer's been helping me out. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There's only so much I can do. Only so much I can do on my end. I am interested about this URL thing. Rumble, what have you done? You better not overwrite my last stream. I'll be very sad. What is going on? Okay, just a second here. All right, so I guess Pilled crapped out. That or Rumble is struggling if it's not. Yeah. Just a second. Let me reply to people. Let me see if I'm live everywhere else. Sorry about the technical delay here, guys. Let me see if X is still going. Sounded a bit like Barnes. 1940s radio voice. I like it. That's what I think of when I hear Mark Levin. That's what he sounds like to me. Bob Vinlance, I'm being too kind to Levin, calling him a human being. He is a goblin. He is a goblin. Pay your internet. It's not the internet. I'm still live on. I'm still live on Rumble. It's probably. Dang it! I hate that. What's going on with Rumble? It's been laggy and weird tonight. Yeah, I don't know. Usually you can blame it on like a DDoS or something like that, but I don't see anything. That sounded a bit like Barnes. Ooh, Barnes was swinging a miss. I watched this Sunday stream. He was talking about the Austin Metcalf Carmelo Anthony thing, and I don't know what happened to Barnes. That is a one of the most horrible legal analyses I've ever heard from Barnes. It was bad. It was just factually completely driven by emotion, not objective at all. Absolute garbage. Robert Barnes, dude, you need to get your head out your hind end, because the analysis that he gave provided all the maybe he's, and I hate to be this way, but it sounds like he's angling to maybe I mean, the case is pretty much over now, but it sounded like he was almost trying to help the defense. Like, I get he's a defense lawyer for the constitutional rights and stuff like that. I understand. But oh my goodness, Robert Barnes's analysis of the Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf thing is absolutely swing and a miss. Absolutely, I can't fathom, because he's a smart guy. So I don't understand how, unless it was just such confirmation bias that he's going against anything that is possibly one way, and so he's trying to be contrarian. I don't know. Damn, you been at the trial every day? Hell yeah, Jixer Trickster, it's in your neck of the woods. Yeah. Hey, I feel what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're still going on Rumble. This is good. I don't know what happened, because I still like a lot of I've liked a lot of his analysis in the past. But yeah, it's weird, and it seemed like he said at one point, and I did get a little bit. I'm still a little bit petty about it. The block, but closing arguments, then guilty verdict, then BLM and rights. I don't think it's going to be as big, because here's the thing, guys. I have something for you. Give me a second. Barnes of you. Yeah, and even yeah, I hate that. I started watching Vivo when he was doing the car vlogs, guys. Like, I was all the way back in that time. I started like right after he had done the like fishing, catching a fish with a drone, which I think he might have gotten in a little bit of legal trouble for. But yeah, I was watching all that. Give me a second here. Damn it. Did I really not bookmark this? I am a fool. You unsubbed? Yeah. What are y'all wearing to the Civil War? Man, if they try to do a riot stuff for this piece of garbage, Carmelo Anthony is a piece of garbage, by the way. Even the defense witnesses were like, yeah, I don't think he was being ganged up on. Like, even their own witnesses were just kicking their butts. It just wasn't good, from what I understand. And this is reporting. I didn't actually watch it, but Jixer Trickster, were you actually there? Like, in the damn? So you go back tomorrow at 15 minutes away from. That is awesome. Oh shit! I hate that you were. Oh man, that sucks. You live 15 minutes away. That is awesome, Jixer Trickster. You're on the ground reporting. That's great. Thank you for your contribution to the live chat about that. So, just curious, Jixer Trickster. What is the most interesting part of the trial been for you? Like, have you been in the courtroom or have you been outside seeing all the nonsense going on? So I heard there was a Rosa Parks. Somebody was calling her, dressing kind of like a Rosa Parks figure, but Rosa Parks figure, but barking at people. So people called her Rosa Parks. Yes. With a vest underneath, right? Might be needed. Might be needed. Let me go to my reposts. I might have reposted it instead of bookmarking it. I know I had it. Ah, here we go. Here we go. So, this is one of the reasons why I'm thinking that the Carmelo Anthony thing might not lead to BLM style Summer of Love yet again. This type of stuff right here. And there's multiple videos of black folks just being like, nah, I'm good.
I'm just gonna be real serious and simple about this shit. Fuck Carmelo Anthony and
Yes.
fuck you if you motherfucking agree with him. If you think that nigga was motherfucking scared for his life and he should have stabbed that motherfucker in the chest, you's a dumb motherfucker. Because at the end of the motherfucking day, you could line up 12 blind jurors, not giving a fuck what orientation sexually they are, what race they are. You give me 12 blind motherfuckers and tell them motherfuckers the facts, and they gonna find that little nigga guilty.
I like this guy. Ah, it's in SpongeBob shirt. Yes. Yes. SpongeBob shirt is good. I'll wear my Deadpool one with the chimichangas raining down and him holding an AK-47 corn. I'll wear that. Yes. Damn, you said you'll go live tomorrow? Hell yeah. There are only 27 seats in the courtroom. Have to be there at 4 a.m. to get in. Damn, that's early. I mean, I could stay up past 4 a.m., but then I'd be sleeping in the courtroom and the judge would probably be mad at me.
It's that simple. I don't give a fuck how you twist.
They're going to call this fella Uncle Ruckus. The white man, he knows everything we supposed to be doing.
Decided, put
Now, tell you something about that white man.
it.
That's from the Boondocks. Uncle Ruckus is hilarious.
How you want a motherfucker smeared and covered with whatever the fuck you want. The nigga is guilty and he going to hell. The worst part is, you motherfuckers went and ran all this motherfucking money up for that motherfucker, and his family went and bought a house. They took care of shit, and at the end of the day, that nigga ain't gonna have money for commissary or to take care of his motherfucking ass when he get there, because the white boy's gonna run through that motherfucker. Niggas don't want nothing to do with him, because they ain't motherfucking dealing with some civil bullshit war in prison over a dumb nigga that did some shit he could have took care of his goddamn self with his hands. It's that simple. If you don't like that and you don't understand that, fuck you and your feelings, because you're not grown enough to realize that nigga fucked up. And
I love this man. He is my spirit animal.
when you fuck up, you got to be held accountable for your shit.
Oh, damn, you met Enrique Tario Friday? That's cool.
And if you don't like that, fuck your feelings. I don't care.
Fuck your feelings. I don't care. You getting it. Get it, Unk. That's right. That's right. That guy right there. And that's not the only video, guys. That's not the only video. There are a lot of thinking, rational black folks that are like, yeah, this is messed up. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. As Hanson, I got a Mr. Rogers t-shirt. He's holding an AK saying, wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to check on BitChute really quick to see if we're still live there. And then I guess I'll check on YouTube. No, I guess Rumble is just rumbling hard today. Well, this is sad. Check the X machine. I guess we're just live on Rumble today. Hate that Pilled was going for a minute. Salty Zipper Tits, thank you for the support over there, by the way. That's very kind of you. And, well, okay. It looks like Rumble and X. Rumble and X, and I'm assuming the dozerden.locals.com are where we're actually able to be live right now. So I don't know what happened. YouTube looks like we still have one person too, so I guess it's just Pilled and BitChute. Odd. Quite odd. You'd like to meet Gavin McGinnis? Well, be careful. Be careful. Shit. Salty Zipper Tits. Interesting. Interesting. But there that was. Yeah, guys, we've got Massie. We've got Massie, who did a very good job, in my opinion, of oh shoot. Where did I put it at? Where did I put it at? No. Massie, it was in my bookmarks. Why am I not even? I'm not even in the right spot. But Massie decided to he decided to do a little speech. And after that, we've got to show you a mutant that decided to rob like a gas station or something and got $200. His face is messed up. That's all I have to say. But I'll have to say more whenever I show him. There's a story about it. We might read it. I don't know yet. Here we go. Here it is. Here it is, guys. Massie honors the survivors of the USS Liberty on the House floor and demands for a resolution recognizing the attack by Israel and an investigation and recognition that the official narrative is false. It was not an accident. No, it was not. Watch where you sit around McGinnis. Yes, indeed. He also might pee on you. Oh, no, I actually remember that from Friday. Was it Friday Night Tights or Geeks and Gamers stream where he just pulled his wang out and started peeing on the table? He did. Show the sewer mutant. You want to see him? He's actually. Prepare yourselves. It's quite concerning. We'll show this. There it is. There he is. He according to Baton Rouge, this motherfucker's deformed as hell. Baton Rouge police warrant DeJounte Wings, who used to work at Take 5 Oil Change in Baton Rouge, has been arrested after allegedly breaking into the airline highway business and stealing $200 from the safe. DeJounte. That is a mutant. You know what, guys? This is disclosure. Right here. They are here walking among us, the hybrids, the aliens, guys. They're here, and here's a better picture of him.
You woke up this morning and you felt, fellas, if you woke up this morning and you felt that lonely sensation, my fault, you heard me? Your girl is really excellent in that bed. Yes, Lord. Ask her how I do. Fellas, if you woke up this morning and you felt that lonely sensation, my fault, you heard me? Your girl is really excellent in that bed. Yes, Lord. Ask her how I do. Fellas.
Hey, guys. Get that motherfucker a Baby Ruth right now. Get him a Baby Ruth. What the hell? Who knew Elox were so... Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one right there. Yeah, that's disclosure. They're here. They're walking among us. Speaking of here, do you guys see this? I'm assuming it's probably AI. But here's a UFO. Before we get into this. I mean, see, parts of it are appearing and disappearing. Unless you think that the gravitational field blocks out part of it. It's part of the cloaking? I don't know. The account that posts these can be a little bit controversial. So, you think that was the first gen alien human hybrids? I don't know what this one is probably fake. I don't know though. It's cool to look at, darn it. That has to be a filter. You think about the dude's face? No, that dude's face is real. When you talk about this, you think this is a filter? Maybe. I don't know. Wonder how big the delay is between the stream and the chat. I don't know. That might be real. Who knows? Let's see. Let's get into Massie's address to Congress today.
Honors of my lifetime to stand here on the floor and do something. The biggest honors of my lifetime to stand here on the floor.
This is your overdue Massie Minute. It's a segment we used to do on this stream. And then that just decided, I kind of fell away from doing it because I got very frustrated about the whole situation. So here we go. 5 minutes of Massie Minute.
Do something that's 59 years overdue to recognize the survivors and those who gave their lives on the USS Liberty 59 years ago today, when they were viciously attacked by IDF jets, and also after that by torpedo boats. I'm going to tell you a little bit of their story. And by the way, there's at least a dozen of them here today with us. I just met with them in my office, and they related this story to me.
I saw Jeremy Boring, formerly of the Daily Wire, decided to do a big, hour-long thing. He has read some of the list of individuals from the Epstein files and part of the they don't happen to be in this country, but they're princes and leaders of companies and stuff that have been removed and been charged. Not in this country for some reason. That's weird. What's up, Brett Snom? Good to see you. The white eyes is always some crazy leftist. Once you start seeing the white eyes, you can't unsee it. True. But no, I will say this: he's if the DOJ doesn't go ahead and release the rest of the information, I mean, he said he's going to. We'll see. If he doesn't, going to be very disappointed. I will criticize that. I am critical of the fact that he hasn't gone ahead and read them out. His response is that it's to force the DOJ's hand to actually do their job and actually follow the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which they're still like 3 or 4 months late on releasing the rest of the information. So, well, I don't know what the I don't know. I don't know what the who gets held accountable? How? How do we get the DOJ to be held accountable? I don't know.
You know,
it
was a clear day. The USS Liberty was one of the most technologically sophisticated ships in the Navy.
And thank you to Harry Toes for that $5 Rumble rant. We'll get to that here in a minute.
But it was virtually unarmed, and it was sent to observe the 6-day war going on in the Middle East between Israel and its neighbors. It arrived on June 7th, and the weather was clear. The planes came out to meet them, to investigate.
Harry Toe, I saw that video the other day, and I actually bookmarked it to play. So thank you for posting that in the chat.
And then cute. On the next day, on June 8th,
they
started the day. The visibility was unlimited. The American flag was flying proudly on the USS Liberty. More planes came from Israel to surveil the boat, the ship. And they thought they were in good shape. But what happened next surprised them all. French Mirage jets showed up and for 25 minutes strafed and attacked the USS Liberty. They shot rockets. They shot 30-millimeter cannons into the hull and into the ship. They even dropped napalm on the bridge of the ship. This
is all true. This all happened.
It was an effort to kill everybody on board. There was no intention of taking prisoners. After the 25...
I think Lyndon B. Johnson and the Israeli government worked together to authorize a false flag to get us into the 6-day war with Israel. And I think it was another Gulf of Tonkin situation. That's what I think.
Grueling minutes of attack on this virtually unarmed ship. And they thought things were over and they could recover. The torpedo boats showed up, 3 torpedo boats. They launched 4 torpedoes. One of them hit the hull of the USS Liberty and killed 25 people.
Didn't Johnson negate that order? So Sartorius saying after the attack on the USS Liberty, Admiral Morrison ordered a retaliatory strike against Israeli air bases. I think didn't Johnson like say no to that? I'm a bit rusty on my history here.
Instantly, it blew a 40-foot by 40-foot hole in the side of this ship. They were intent on sinking it. But they were also intent on not having a single survivor. According to eyewitness accounts, the Israelis machine gunned the lifeboats that they put down. They machine gunned the firefighters who were on the deck. They were bringing the wounded and the dead to the mess hall to triage them. They had one doctor who was trying to help them all, put a few stitches in. It was harrowing, and it's amazing. If not for that crew, that boat would have sunk that day. But it still wasn't over. Helicopters showed up, combat helicopters. And the USS Liberty, even though their signals were being jammed by the Israelis, got a signal out. And there were ships that tried to respond. The USS Saratoga, the USS America sent planes. Both of them sent planes to help the USS Liberty. And something happened that's never happened before. A ship under attack, the planes were recalled. This has never happened before. And they sat there for 17 hours. 34 dead, 174 wounded, out of 294 crew members. That's over 70% casualty rate.
And everybody responsible for that, including, any U.S. government officials that authorized that allowed that, they should have been tried for treason and hung in public. After due process, they should have been tried for treason, given all due process, and then executed in public.
unheard of. The Israelis were intent on leaving no survivor. And what about our own military? Why did they not send anybody for 17 hours to help these men? So what really happened?
So it's a family thing. Oh, look at that. Oh, interesting. And in 1986, the son of Admiral McCain, John McCain, elected to the Senate. Okay.
The official reports say that it was a case of mistaken identity.
Every now and then I wonder if McCain is looking up at us from the fiery pits of hell.
But if you
fuck John McCain.
Listen to Dean Rusk, former Secretary of State, Richard Helms, CIA Director, Bobby Ray Inman, head of the NSA, Captain Ward Boston, who was the chief counsel of the Court of Inquiry. If you listen to Admiral Moore, who served in Pearl Harbor, Midway, commanded both the Atlantic and Pacific Fleet, and was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, none of these distinguished men think this was an accident. They think it was intentional murder by the country of Israel, either as a false flag operation.
Yep.
Or because they simply didn't want anybody observing what they were doing that day. Well, I've got a call to action for everybody here. Honor these individuals. Quit ignoring that they exist. Go to their website, ussliberty.org. Support them. And while they're still alive, they need closure. Let's give them closure. Let's have an investigation. Let's pass a resolution honoring them. It's long overdue. And then they can have their justice. With that, I yield back. And I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the declaration of Ward Boston declaring that the only official court of inquiry was invalid.
Good. Chad Massie. Thank you, sir. Very, very good. Right there's what we need. Yes, the fiery tits of hell. Fiery tits from hell. It reminds me of an old 80s cartoon. Like montage, classic rock. I think it had big titty, horrible animation, women riding like a dragon or a phoenix. I can't remember. I think, God, I was like young when I saw it. Why? I don't know. But I did. McCain is busy with a pineapple inserter. Yes. Yes, indeed. Wow, interesting, Sertorius. You've got some good information there. Just coincidences, right? Just coincidences. It might have been heavy metal. Yes, Sanglan, I think I know yes, I think that's what it is. The heavy metal thing. And there, yeah. Was it just called heavy metal?
The biggest honors of my lifetime to stand here.
Here, I've got another thing. And then Harry Tell will play yours. Let's see. Sounds like another watch party. Nah, maybe. So Roger Stone says that the attack on the USS Liberty was approved by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Let's so Eyepatch McCain, speaking of McCain, Eyepatch McCain decided to get involved with this and decided to talk about Thomas Massie as if he's a bad guy for speaking about this issue. So Mel, Village Crazy Lady on the X Machine, on October 7th, 2004, Representative John Conyers of Michigan gave one of the most important speeches of the last 50 years on the floor of the House of Representatives. Clearly, Dan Crenshaw's APAC handler has never shared this speech with him. So I will. Look at that. Good job. Because he decided to talk a bunch of stuff about Massie, and it's interesting. But that's every cartoon in the 80s, the golden age of comics. Nice. Here we go, though. So this is Honorable John Conyers, Jr. of Michigan in the House of Representatives. This is the U.S. House of Representatives or the state? I'm guessing U.S. Mr. Conyers, Mr. Speaker, on February 5th of this year, a legendary American naval hero passed away in Bethesda, Maryland. Admiral Thomas H. Moore, the one that Massie just talked about, epitomized the finest qualities of dedication and national service. His distinguished naval career spanned 41 years, including service as a naval aviator as one of the first pilots off the ground during the attack on Pearl Harbor, as a decorated hero of numerous combat missions in the Southwest Pacific and the Battle of Midway, as Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet, as Commander of NATO's U.S. Atlantic Command and the U.S. Atlantic Fleet, becoming the only officer in the Navy's history to command both our Atlantic and Pacific fleets, as Chief of Naval Operations, as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and as a tireless advocate for American veterans. Admiral Moore was instrumental in establishing the United States Navy Memorial on Pennsylvania Avenue. In numerous appearances before congressional committees, Admiral Moore provided valuable testimony on a variety of national security concerns. Capping this extraordinary career, Admiral Moore made his final appearance on Capitol Hill on October 22, 2003, as chairman of the Independent Commission of Inquiry into the 1967 attack on the USS Liberty. It is a privilege for me to introduce the findings of the Independent Commission of Inquiry into the Israeli attack on the USS Liberty into the congressional record. Findings of the Independent Commission of Inquiry into the Israeli attack on the USS Liberty: the recall of military rescue support aircraft while the ship was under attack, and the subsequent cover-up by the United States government. Israel government involved with that as well. We, the undersigned, have undertaken an independent investigation of Israel's attack on the USS Liberty, including eyewitness testimony from survivors, crew members, a review of naval and other official records, an examination of official statements by the Israeli and American governments, a study of the conclusion of all previous official inquiries, and a consideration of important new evidence and I guess there was a page right there, important new evidence and recent statements from individuals having direct knowledge of the attack or the cover-up, hereby find the following. That on June 8th, 1967, after 8 hours of aerial surveillance, Israel launched a 2-hour air and naval attack against the USS Liberty, the world's most sophisticated intelligence ship, inflicting 34 dead and 172 wounded. So I was under the number there. American servicemen, a casualty rate of 70%, and a crew of 294. They were trying to take all of them out. LBJ, I don't trust a man until I have his pecker in my pocket. That's right. Let's see. That the Israeli air attack lasted approximately 25 minutes, during which time unmarked Israeli aircraft dropped napalm canisters on the Liberty's bridge and fired 30-millimeter cannons and rockets into our ship, causing 821 holes, more than 100 of which were rocket size. Survivors estimate 30 or more sorties. Wonder what that is. Sorties were flown over the ship by a minimum of 12 attacking Israeli planes, which were jamming all 5 American emergency radio channels. This was meant to be a false flag to get us involved in their 6-day war. That the torpedo boat attack involved not only the firing of torpedoes, but the machine gunning of the Liberty's firefighters and stretcher bearers as they struggled to save their ship and crew. This was vicious. This was something that should have resulted in a very, very strong response from the American people. Honestly, the Israeli torpedo boats later returned to machine gun at close range 3 of the Liberty's life rafts that had been lowered into the water by survivors to rescue the most seriously wounded. Evil, demonic move by the Israeli government. That there is compelling evidence that that Israel's attack was a deliberate attempt to destroy an American ship and kill her entire crew. Evidence of such intent is supported by statements from Secretary of State Dean Rusk, Undersecretary of State George Ball, former CIA Director Richard Helms, former NSA Directors Lieutenant General William Odom, USA retired, Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, U.S. Navy retired, and Marshall Carter, former NSA Deputy Directors Oliver Kirby and Major General John Morrison. There's the Morrison connection there. U.S. Air Force retired, and former Ambassador Dwight Porter, U.S. Ambassador to Lebanon in 1967. That in attacking the USS Liberty, Israel committed acts of murder against the woman's. Let's say this: acts of war against the American people. How about that? Against American servicemen, and an act of war against the United States. There we go. Thank you. That fearing conflict with Israel, the White House deliberately prevented the U.S. Navy from coming to the defense of the Liberty by recalling 6th Fleet military rescue support while the ship was under attack. Evidence of the recall of rescue aircraft is supported by statements of Captain Joe Tully, commanding officer of the aircraft carrier USS Saratoga, and Rear Admiral Lawrence Geise, the 6th Fleet Carrier Division commander at the time of the attack. Never before in American naval history has a rescue mission been canceled when an American ship was under attack. But our closest ally was the one that did it. So, did a short documentary about this. They knew. Oh yeah, they knew. They 100% knew. I think it was a false flag attempt to get us involved. Yep, another Gulf of Tonkin. That although the Liberty was saved from almost certain destruction through the heroic efforts of the ship's captain, William L. McGonigal, MOH, and his brave crew, surviving Crew members were later threatened with court-martial, imprisonment, or worse if they exposed the truth, and were abandoned by their own government. Fuck the government. That due to the influence of Israel's powerful supporters in the United States, the White House deliberately covered up the facts of this attack from the American people. That due to continuing pressure by the pro-Israel lobby in the United States, this attack remains the only serious naval incident that has never been thoroughly investigated by Congress. To this day, no surviving crew member has been permitted to officially and publicly testify about the attack. That there has been an official cover-up without precedent in American naval history, the existence of such a cover-up is now supported by statements of Rear Admiral Merlin Starring, U.S. Navy retired, former Judge Advocate General of the Navy, and Captain Ward Boston, U.S. Navy retired, the chief counsel to the Navy's 1967 Court of Inquiry of the Liberty attack. Yeah. That the truth about Israel's attack and subsequent White House cover-up continues to be officially concealed from the American people to the present day and is a national disgrace. That a danger to our national security exists whenever our elected officials are willing to subordinate American interests to those of any foreign nation, and specifically are unwilling to challenge Israel's interests when they conflict with American interests. This policy, evidenced by the failure to defend the USS Liberty and the subsequent official cover-up of the Israeli attack, endangers the safety of Americans and the security of the United States. Whereupon we, the undersigned, in order to fulfill our duty to the brave crew of the USS Liberty and to all Americans who are asked to serve in our armed forces, hereby call upon the Department of the Navy, the Congress of the United States, and the American people to immediately take the following actions. First, that a new court of inquiry be convened by the Department of the Navy, operating with congressional oversight, to take public testimony from surviving crew members and to thoroughly investigate the circumstances of the attack on the USS Liberty with full cooperation from the National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, okay, and the Military Intelligence Services, and to determine Israel's possible motive in launching said attack on a U.S. naval vessel. Second, that every, and I hate the people that are saying, oh, it was just an accident. Second, that every appropriate committee of the Congress of the United States investigate the actions of the White House and Defense Department that prevented the rescue of the USS Liberty, thereafter threatened her surviving officers and men if they exposed the truth, and covered up the true circumstances of the attack from the American people. And third, that the 8th day of June of every year be proclaimed to be hereafter known as USS Liberty Remembrance Day, in order to commemorate the Liberty's heroic crew and to educate the American people of the danger to our national security inherent in any passionate attachment of our elected officials for any foreign nation. We have an affidavit of Captain Ward Boston, Senior Counsel to the U.S. Navy's Court of Inquiry. For more than 30 years, I have remained silent on the topic of the USS Liberty. I'm a military man, and when orders come in from the Secretary of Defense and President of the United States, I follow them. Am I back? Oh, just a second. All right. I see two of me. Are we frozen? I see me moving now. All right. Give me a sec. Oh, there's two of me. Whatever. It's all right. Rumble has been rumbling. Are we good? We're back. Good deal. There's just two of me now. Huzzah. The gremlins wear yarmulkes. Fucking, it's the damn Israelis. They don't like me reading about this, damn it. Damn you, Mossad! Arr! The USS Liberty had a sister ship, USS Pueblo, captured by North Korea. I did not know that. Thank you, Sertorius, providing excellent context. Let's finish this out. Sorry about the interruption there, guys. I could blame Rumble. I could blame my internet. Whatever. Stereoscopic if your eye is on top of each other. Interesting, Ratsnom. By the way, guys, share the stream out. Repost this stream. And to those that repost, I will be shouting you out during the show. that's right. You'll get a shout out live for sharing this stream out, commenting, and reposting. Well, I'll see reposts and comments, but the sharing, I guess I don't know. But anyways, let's get back to this. Sorry about the pause there. We were on a roll, guys. We were on a roll, and they had to stop me. They had to stop my momentum. Let's see, where were we? I was assigned senior legal counsel for the Navy's Court of Inquiry into the brutal attack on the USS Liberty, which had occurred on June 8th. The late Admiral Isaac C. Kidd, president of the court, and I were given only 1 week to gather evidence for the Navy's official investigation into the attack. 1 week is all. Really? Admiral John S. McCain Jr., then Commander-in-Chief, Naval Forces, Europe, Never, at his headquarters in London, had charged Admiral Kidd in a letter dated June 10th, 1967, to inquire into all the pertinent facts and circumstances leading to and connected with the armed attack, damage resulting therefrom, and deaths of and injuries to naval personnel. Despite the short amount of time we were given, we gathered a vast amount of evidence, including hours of heartbreaking testimony from the young survivors. The evidence was clear. Both Admiral Kidd and I believed with certainty that this attack, which killed 34 American sailors and injured 172 others, was a deliberate effort to sink an American ship and murder its entire crew. I am certain that the Israeli pilots that undertook the attack, as well as their superiors who had ordered the attack, were aware that the ship was American. I saw the flag, which had visibly identified the ship as American, riddled with bullet holes, and heard testimony that made it clear that the Israelis intended there be no survivors. Not only did the Israelis attack the ship with napalm, gunfire, and missiles, Israeli torpedo boats machine-gunned 3 lifeboats that had been launched in an attempt by the crew to save the most seriously wounded. A war crime. I'm outraged at the efforts of the apologists for Israel in this country to claim that this attack was a case of mistaken identity. In particular, the recent publication of J. Crystal's book, The Liberty Incident, twists the facts and misrepresents the views of those of us who investigated the attack. It is Crystal's insidious attempt to whitewash the facts that has pushed me to speak out. I know from personal conversations that I had with Admiral Kidd that President Lyndon Johnson and Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara ordered him to conclude that the attack was a case of mistaken identity, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Contrary to the misinformation presented by Crystal and otherwise, it is important for the American people to know that it is clear that Israel is responsible for deliberately attacking an American ship and murdering American sailors, whose bereaved shipmates have lived with this egregious conclusion for many years. This is getting kind of small for me, guys, not gonna lie. There's a lot here. Okay, we're not gonna be able to read through all this today, so you kind of got the picture. I'm going to go ahead and put this link out there in the chat for you guys so you can read through it a little bit more. I'm going to bookmark it again because I want to read through it more intently as well, because I would like more context and more information on it. So let me get over here to get into the affidavit. Just honestly, it's just infuriating. Just infuriating that this happened. It's infuriating that our government let it happen. Why am I still... Let me do a quick refresh. See if we can fix this issue so I don't have Little Bill off to the side here. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if it actually still does it. Yep. We got a Little Bill responding to Big Bill. Hi. Let me do a quick refresh. I'll be right back, guys. All right. I think we're back. I hope we are. That's the goal anyways. Oh! Shit. Harry Toe spent $5 earlier. By the way, thank you for that $5 Rumble rant. We got ourselves a Saffron Sniper. This is not AI, Harry Toe says. Not AI at all. And thank you for the $5. This is just some cuteness that I actually saw, and I had bookmarked it way down in my list. But I was going to share it with you. So thank you, Harry Toe, for sharing this super intense. Big fight breaks out inside Poland's Wrocław Zoo. A rhino and a baby deer were having a playful fight together. The baby deer somehow managed to scare the rhino and send it running for the hills. That's right, fierce deer. Guys, don't mess with deer. They'll tear you up. Look at what it did to this poor rhino.
What's Kung Fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Rhino's just having a good time. That deer's like, I'm gonna mess you up. You talking about, man? Why you think this is a game? Think this is a game?
But they did it with expert timing. Oh, yeah.
He did it. He did it. He won. It was David versus Goliath. Harry Toe, thank you for the palate cleanser. We needed it after that. Gosh darn it. Harry Toe, we needed that palate cleanser. Thank you. Man. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button yet, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit it for the baby deer and the rhino having a good route. Let me do a quick refresh over here on the Rumbles. See who has reposted, who has commented. Oh, we have 1 thumbs down. Sad. Oh, shit. Just a moment. I do like to shout you guys out. We got Conspiracy Music just followed the channel. And, well, Hamburger Helper commented on the last stream that we did. Thank you for that, Hamburger Helper. No repost today. Should I repost it? Guys, I might repost my own stream. I do it sometimes. Because sometimes the notification bell doesn't let people know that we're live. If you haven't hit that notification bell yet, hit that notification bell. It's a very, very good idea. We're at $13 on the night, by the way, y'all. $13 on the night, which means we are $37 away from Fancy Hat Goal on a Monday. A magnificent Monday, I hope, for you guys. I do appreciate you being here. What's up, Bob of Atlantis? Back in the chat. Okay, good deal. Some thumbs down haters. Some thumbs downer hates us seamen. Yep. It's a name. It's a name for the Navy folks. That whole situation though is so freaking sad. So sad. And it's a shame that our government just let it happen. Call it a case of mistaken identity. And to all those that are still carrying water for the government of Israel for that attack, go fuck yourself. Ben Shapiro, go fuck yourself. Mark Levin, go fuck yourself. Jeremy Boring, go fuck yourself. Eyepatch McCain, go fuck yourself for carrying water for a vicious demonic state that would attack our own boys on that ship, the USS Liberty. You can go right to hell. That's where you belong. Anybody that would excuse that, you're not a friend of this country, and you're not a friend to me. And you know what? I'd just rather not share the same air. That's all I'll say. We have another topic, guys. We do have another topic. We're an hour in. I told Lady Dozer I might keep the show a little short today, but I usually am a dirty, rotten liar, and she called me out on it. She said, you don't do short shows. I said, you know what? Sometimes I do, damn it. Sometimes I keep it to an hour. All right? No Trump is with that, with this recent actions. Gotta throw Trump in there. In a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, seems like he's finally got some nuts to him. A little bit late. I wonder, guys, has anyone checked on Crowder? Because he said that if this Iran thing went longer than 90 days, that he would say it's a failure. Or is he kind of doing it was a ceasefire, so it didn't go for 90 days. If he is, I swear. I haven't been able to catch Crowder. I still love watching Crowder, by the way. And prayers to Tim the Toolman's dad. Apparently he had surgery today. So guys, if you're a praying person, if you don't, you just want to send good vibes. Tim the Toolman from Louder with Crowder, his dad had surgery today. I'm hoping everything went well. But pray that the surgeon's hands are guided by God to fix the issue, and that recovery goes fairly smoothly. Sucks whenever your parents are starting to get older or starting to have health issues and having to go under the knife. So definitely prayers up for Tim the Toolman's dad. So not a fan of a lot of his recent bullshit with Israel. Yeah, they covered that. That every time there's a ceasefire, the night. Did they fucking really? That's weak. Intellectually, that's weak. That is very weak. No. Because here's the thing. The ceasefire nothing ceased. It was still going on. Didn't you notice Dean stopped saying short stream tonight, and he's ending before dawn now? Oh, well, there you go. We are the show. Good channel. Guys, next topic. We're going to do a little bit of a watch and react to the We Are Change interview with Timothy Alberino, exposing a UFO war. Hence the thumbnail of UFOs hitting the USS Liberty. That's what that ended up being. I don't know. It was a UFO war over the USS Liberty, and somehow it turned into the UFOs attacking the USS Liberty. It wasn't the aliens. This time it wasn't the aliens. It was the Jews! Not all of them. But damn it. Those ones definitely, the IDF was not very nice. So we are going to get into this. Look at that awesome sticker on his cup. I like it. Sassy Pepe. By the way, guys, did you know that if you subscribe to the channel for a measly $5 a month, your name will be lit up in the most beautiful shade of MAGA red? That's right, you'll catch a rumble rash. It oozes patriotism, and the only treatment is more America. That's right. Some say you shouldn't spread this rash around. I think you should. Hit that red present box, and you can shower the chat with your love, or spray the chat with your love. Awakened All Day was doing that on Saturday. You got if he sprayed it with his love, you guys got to spray it with your love, okay? Or shower, whatever verb you want to use. I'm not going to judge you. We talk about stuff and things here in the Dozer Den. Stuff and things. What is up, Hamburglar Helper? Hold up, it's freezing. Shit. Oh, well, the rant is you might be behind. Speaking of UFO war, did I see Father Russell's night stream where he was outside showing what was likely a drone war back when all that crap was happening? No, I did not. Interesting. Good to see you, Hamburglar. No, we're moved on. The first hour was the USS Liberty. We played Chad Massie. We had our Massie minute for a little while of his address, and then we read through some of the stuff posted from Roger Stone and that Mel lady on the X Machine. I put that link in the chat, so if you want to, if it's, I don't know if you can scroll up, but of no Jewish space teams, let's scream about dumb stuff. Yes. UFO Wars. Timothy Alberino, the rogue archaeologist, had some just very... I'm going to buy this guy's book. He's got cool books. I'm going to probably end up buying one. He talks about the giants. He talks about the Nephilim. He talks about demons. He talks about all kinds of fun stuff. And UFO Barbie has upset me. UFO Barbie has essentially said that the meat potatoes of the UFO stuff has already been released. If that's the case, this has been the biggest bait and switch I've ever fucking seen, Miss Anna Paulina Luna, and I am offended. I'm offended, and what changed? Okay? Come on now. You're saying the meat potatoes? This is barely an appetizer. What's been released? You gonna tell me we already got the meat potatoes? And you were talking about all this interdimensional stuff and the Book of Enoch this and Book. I'm annoyed. But there may be a UFO war. Let's check it out. Why did Crenshaw quit teaching? He only had one pupil. Oh, shit. Gonna restart. It's freezing too much. Is it freezing right now, guys? I hope it's not. Sorry for the issues. Rumble's been having issues, and then I guess other things are having issues. Let's go ahead and start watching this interview between Timothy Alberino and Luke Rutkowski from We Are Change. Damn you, Polak! Or Ukrainian, whatever you are.
The topic of aliens has definitely created a buzz on the line with a lot of speculation. We're going to cut through so much of that by talking to the one and only Timothy Alberino, who is joining us for this particular broadcast. You could check him out on his YouTube channel. We, of course, will link it down in the description below. He is an investigative journalist, author, lecturer, explorer, filmmaker, and I'm very much excited to talk about this because it feels like we are in such a crazy, momentous time when we're being kind of dangled and promised disclosures, and what we're getting is what a lot of people are describing as underwhelming. What do you think about what's happening right now, Timothy? Because I think we're in a weird place where it's like, is this a psyop? Are we just being strung along here? Why is this being kind of sold to us like a reality TV show? Are we actually going to get to the bottom of the truth? What do you think is going on here?
Thanks for having me on, Luke. I think it's a mixed bag. I mean, honestly, we are living in unprecedented times. Nothing like this has ever happened before. This is the scenario that ufologists have been longing for decades. We have the president of the United States who's just authored a directive to release the UFO, UAP, alien, extraterrestrial files, in his words. And he
mixed
has,
bags are the best bags.
This pertains to the executive branch. It pertains to obviously anything that the White House has, or the State Department, or the Department of War, or the FBI, Aero, the Pentagon. So we've gotten a couple of tranches already, and it has been underwhelming. But I was told, actually,
I will say this: I have not heard the word tranche so many times in my life.
Behind the scenes, that the initial document dumps were going to be underwhelming, but they were going to become gradually more spectacular as we moved forward, and that we would see these releases about every 2 weeks. So what is this going to crescendo into? That's the question. Nobody knows the answer. I don't even think that the president of the United States knows the answer to that question, because all of these agencies are scrambling right now to try and see what they have that's relevant to this directive, vet the material, and then release it to the public. And the vetting of the material, by the way, isn't to determine whether or not it's authentic. It's to determine whether or not it's a national security concern, whether or not it's classified and is going to breach any kind of national security concern. So nobody.
Well, the fucking Boy Scouts balloon wasn't a national security concern. They included that dumb thing in the freaking UFO file releases. We're a few days late, by the way, on the most. We were supposed to be like every other week, a dump, and we didn't get one last week, so I'm kind of sad about that.
Knows where this is going. I don't think that this is going to culminate in the president of the United States approaching the podium and announcing that we are not alone in the universe. President Trump already said he's going to release everything they have, and he's going to leave it up to the American people to draw the right conclusion. Those were his words. And I think what he means by that, in fact, I'm quite sure what he means by that, is the conclusion is we are not alone. That's the right conclusion.
Yeah. He also said extraterrestrial, which I found weird. You saw Marco Rubio sitting next to him when he actually ushered that term. But this has been such a kind of long, drawn-out process.
Marco gave him the side eye.
Vance, from Barack Obama, from Donald Trump, from members of Congress talking about alien-human hybrid programs. It definitely does seem, as a lot of people are also speculating with the Steven Spielberg movie, that this has been kind of a soft disclosure ever since 2024, when we have so many kind of documented encounters of these type of...
Dude's got some nice headphones. Guys, I need to get some new headphones. These are on headphones. Very, very cheap.
UAP, UFO craft here. Now, if we're going to go back in time here, I think it's also important to note that during the election 2024, these crafts started coming out of New Jersey, started coming off the east coast of the United States. There was multiple reports, multiple police officers, mayors talking.
Resnom, you said Father Russell did a video about that being like a drone war?
About things entering water with this crazy, incredible speed. Donald Trump said, as soon as I get into office, when he was elected, he's going to give us answers. Trump gets elected, and
no answers.
Caroline Leavitt releases a statement being like, oh, yeah, that was all FAA stuff. And I'm like, hold on here. I don't think it was FAA stuff, since the FAA was saying they didn't know what was going on here.
Good deal, Hamburger.
Originally, I think a lot of people are kind of skeptical here. What do you think is kind of happening behind the scenes here? Because already we kind of got not the truth, in my opinion, from this administration about this. Do you believe we're going to finally get the truth from them?
We have been getting some of the truth, but in regard to you make a good point.
Harry Toe, I definitely am going to go see that movie. I'm excited. I am so excited about it, because here's the thing. I think Spielberg has been read into some things and is allowed to share some things on film that wouldn't necessarily... It's almost like a soft, like you said earlier, a soft disclosure. Now, I'm not saying all of it, but predictive programming is real. And if you look back at Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like some of the orbs that are floating around, like that's very similar to what I've been seeing, just not that close. Just globby, kind of looks like little balls of kind of fire floating around almost, but soft. Yes. Just eating bacon dipped in mustard. A proper Bigfoot snack. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Regard to the drone flap, the New Jersey drone flap. So Trump was extremely interested and concerned about that drone situation because he had drones hovering above some of his properties.
Yep.
And I think I can say,
well, Bob, honest, there's a correlation between those two. Just saying. And the whole all the kid stuff in the books. Very concerning.
Based on conversations I've had with certain individuals, I think I can say with a great deal of confidence.
Was that Spielberg or was that somebody else? Didn't Spielberg have the books where all the kids were doing things to each other? Or was that somebody else? Am I really mixing up two famous people right now? This guy right? Spielberg wrote it, right? Damn. If I'm wrong on that. Stephen King. Shit. My bad. Spielberg worked with him in some of his films, though, right? No. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate y'all. Amazing, Killdozers. Amazing. It's Monday. I blame brain fog.
There was an element of foreign intrusion in that drone flap. In other words, it wasn't just, there was three things happening. It was foreign intrusion. It was our response to that intrusion, and there was legitimate UAP activity. All three of those things were happening. And I'm
inclined to agree with that statement.
I'm quite convinced myself that I don't know if you remember that individual. I can't remember his name off the top of my head here. Who
Spielberg has great movies, though. I can separate the art from the artist.
Who committed suicide in his Tesla in front of one of Trump's buildings in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Yes,
during that New Jersey flap.
Anti-Grid
And then he released he released a manifesto. And this was Sean Ryan broke the story. And in the manifesto, he said that the Chinese had made a breakthrough in anti-gravitational technology, and that they had these exceedingly advanced drones and drone technology, and they were deploying it over restricted airspace in the United States. I think that narrative was true. And so when Trump entered office and he looked into this and he wanted answers, I think that's what he was told.
Thank you, Relaxia McGroin, for reposting this episode of
because
the Dozer
Pentagon, the White House, they're never going to make the American public aware of a threat that they cannot control or that they cannot abate. And so I think that's why the whole drone thing just sort of went away, because it constituted a threat that we had no response to. And you'll recall that right away when Trump got in office, he initiated he was talking about and then initiated the Golden Dome program, and the Golden Dome is supposed to be equipped.
Some domes are silver. Mine is going to be gold. Beautiful, beautiful gold. Golden toilets, golden domes. Yes.
Equivalent to Israel's Iron Dome, but the Golden Dome is not.
Golden showers. Wait a second. Wrong choice of words.
Oriented toward rockets. The Golden Dome is oriented towards drones and advanced warfare technology. So Trump did have a response. It wasn't necessarily a public response to the threat. It was the Golden Dome. So I think personally the Chinese have made breakthrough in if there's one area that they excel, perhaps even beyond us, it's in their drone technology. They're building. This is unquestionably true, because the Navy, I think it's called the Navy Times, released this. It's the Navy's own publication arm. They released images of drone craft carriers being constructed in the docks in China. And they're like aircraft.
China's drone game is quite startling, if I'm being completely honest. They're way. I feel like they might be way more advanced than we are. At least it's what we display as our current level of drone tech. Now you get into the military tech and private contractors with the military. It's usually 30 years. That the loose number that's thrown out there is that they're 30 years advanced compared to what we know. So who knows? But
carriers. They're a little bit smaller, but they're built specifically to carry fleets of drones of all sizes. And the Chinese have been building a lot of these, and this is a substantial part of their armament at this point of their arsenal. So again, I think Trump did respond, not publicly, but he responded with the Golden Dome Initiative. But I think there was legitimate UAP activity as well happening. So, but yeah, a lot of people kind of forgot about that. That's a very good point.
No, there's so many different things that I'm thinking about that I don't want to interrupt you, but it was over Bedminster that drones were flying over. And what you're saying makes sense, since the Chinese were caught literally using spy balloons, flying them over the United States.
That's right.
And of course, there's espionage being done by all these foreign adversaries and foreign countries. China has spent a lot of money on developing specific drone warfare.
Dear God, Luke, stop hitting your table.
As of course, their analysts are looking at what's happening in Ukraine and modern warfare that's becoming more kind of technocratic. The Chinese are also doing a lot of weird gene splicing experimentation, creating super soldiers that are literally going to be resistant to radiation, right? Now, there's also a lot of conversations about gene splicing. I know the Pentagon was working on this like 15 years ago, where they were working on chimera type of experiments. Some people are connecting this to some of the
Talking about those chimeras, those animal-human hybrids. And they're turning the friggin' frogs gay.
UAP files and alien files. I don't know if you have seen a connection here, but there's the conversation about the human hybrid alien breeding programs. Do you think that's legitimate? Do you think that's like a red herring? Yep.
Okay, so there's been a couple of comments made about this hybrid breeding program. You'll recall that in one of the hearings, Nancy Mace brought this up. I believe it was Nancy Mace who brought this up. I can't recall exactly. But then recently, Matt Gaetz has been out there talking about this, that he's been made aware of a hybrid breeding program. Now, there are two things to keep in mind here. There are two separate breeding programs that could be referenced here. And I'm not sure which one Gaetz is referencing, or others, by the way. I was just with Lou Elizondo.
It might have been Dark Angel. That was a good movie. That was a good show. Wasn't that Jessica Alba? Jessica Alba. Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
Talking about some of this is...
Was she like a cat? Was she like had some cat genes or something to make her extra agile or something like that? I can't remember. Now I'm thinking of the island of Dr. Moreau. Uh-oh.
As well. And you have the alien abduction phenomenon.
Fuck Benny Johnson.
Which is a phenomenon that's been going on for many decades.
Benny Johnson's such a damn grifter.
It involves a particular faction, the gray aliens and the insectolins. That's one faction.
Insectolins?
And they've been abducting human beings all around the earth, millions of people by now, probably for at least 100 years.
Yeah. I remember that, Bob of Atlantis.
The abduction phenomenon is a breeding program. That's the purpose of it. The purpose of the phenomenon, the purpose of the program is to progenerate alien-human hybrids, by the way, that are indistinguishable from us.
I think a lot of the abductions are actually abductions by our U.S. government, and they MK Ultra the people into thinking they were abducted by Grays. That doesn't mean that I don't think there have been alien abductions by Grays. It's a possibility. But I think a lot of them, they were given hallucinogens as they were abducted in black budget endeavors. Ooh, Eva Longoria does look good. You know what? She don't have to speak, Hamburglar Helper. She don't have to speak.
And
they make ball gags for a reason.
Known fact. So you have the alien breeding program. That's one thing that these guys might be referencing. And certainly Lou Elizondo has referenced that before. That's in the conversation. But the other thing that people, I think, are referencing.
I don't trust Lou Elizondo. He says some things that are interesting, but also he's a literal disinformation agent. So for the CIA, I think. Wasn't it the CIA? It's like, how do we trust anything he says? His job was to disinform.
Maybe Matt Gaetz in this case. There is some speculation. In fact, I would say there is reason to believe that we have our own hybridization program. When I say we, I mean human beings, elements of the United States government and the aerospace contractors. We have our own hybrid breeding program, so to speak. And the reason why, and it is, by the way, it is splicing human and gray alien DNA. And the purpose of this is the objective here is to create a hybrid species that are completely under our control. Now, why would we want to do that? Because alien technology is not like our technology. It's not a manual interface. It's not joysticks and buttons. It is a mind-machine interface. It is telepathic control. So these beings interface with their technology.
Guys, I'm gonna get a dang good night camera. I'm gonna get a good night camera or one to attach to the lens of my iPhone so that I can actually show you guys some of the cool stuff. I put a short out of the orbs that I saw recently. It wasn't the cool triangle formation that I missed by a couple minutes because my phone was inside on the charger, but it was something.
Telepathically. Now, human beings have some level of telepathic capability, but not nearly as potent as the gray aliens, for example. So one of our problems when we capture the craft and we attempt to reverse engineer the technology, one of the primary problems we have is that we can't
That's why they probe.
fully control. We can't fully operate their technology because we don't have the telepathic capabilities that they do. So we use psychics. We use remote viewers. We use whatever we can to try and manipulate their technology. But let's just put it this way. I've heard rumors that we've gone so far as to attempt to create our own alien-human hybrid. Now, this is just speculation here, just rumors. This is potentially what Matt Gaetz is referring to.
Yeah.
And it seems, I mean, that's wild. It seems crazy, but again, keep in mind that the interface is mind-machine. So we can't trust the Greys fully. So
I do believe Luke is his own producer tonight.
The idea is to create an intermediate species that is
Art
completely
Bell.
under our control, that can pilot the craft and access the alien technology. Because we've only had limited success in reverse engineering it for the last 5 decades.
Yeah, and if you kind of
Talking about Lou Elizondo or this guy? I think Lou Elizondo might fit the Timu Art Bell kind of vibe. I like Timothy.
think about it, it's like, oh yeah, we have this craft, we don't know how to use it. Well, let's start breeding someone that does, right? And then that brings forward so many different questions of, how this kind of progressed, the issues of national security, if the Chinese are doing this as well. And just to give people a full timeline, because there's been a bunch of alien kind of UA East Coast sightings in 2024. Then 2025, the sightings kind of moved over to Europe, to Denmark, where the French were saying these are Russian drones. The Polish were coming out and saying these are Russian drones. The French sent in their special forces and went after a Russian shadow freight that was in the region. They stormed them. Commandos went on that ship, and then they came out and they said, we didn't find anything here. What do you think kind of happened in Europe? Because it does seem like there are multiple reportings of a lot of these sightings, specifically amongst nuclear facilities. And that's what Denmark was reporting. The governor of Louisiana, as soon as Donald Trump became president, he held a meeting with all the governors. The Louisiana governor came out and was like, yeah, they're over our nuclear facility here. There's always this type of correlation. Is it because of foreign governments or maybe aliens trying to potentially stop us from doing something?
I think it's a mix of things. We know that UFOs have been interested in our nuclear capabilities for a long time. They've hovered over and disabled our nuclear silos, our nuclear missiles inside of the silos. They're often found around nuclear in the vicinity of nuclear Navy assets, such as aircraft carriers or submarines. Yeah, they're very interested in our capabilities in that realm. Now, again, I think that there's some really, really, really high-tech human technology being deployed as well as it pertains to the drones. And the only problem I have with Russia having this kind of advanced drone technology is they don't seem to be deploying it in Ukraine. All of the drones activity that we've seen on camera, at least, has been conventional drones. I'm sure that the Russians have something that's equivalent to our Predator drones, and certainly the Chinese as well. But somebody, I think, and it's not Iran.
The Predator drones go. I got a lot of popsicles down in my basement.
Somebody has something really, really advanced in the realm of drones. And again, my speculation is that somebody is China. And it's very
Yeah, I'm from China.
alarming to our government right now. But you also have legitimate UAP activity going on. You always have orbs. There's all different kinds of configurations of craft, some of which are unmanned, some of which are manned. And I'm talking about non-human craft that are in the picture.
Dude, y'all, the triangle formation was awesome. Freaking rotated, got closer together, and then went pew, and they all kind of shot off. Kid you not. I literally wouldn't lie about it. Just didn't get it on camera. I was so mad at myself. It was cool.
Especially as it pertains to these nuclear sites and assets.
Yeah, one potential explanation that some people have theoretically given to what's happening right now is correlated with the rise of artificial intelligence and technological advancements.
Yep.
So people are saying AI has been developed so much because, as we know, the Pentagon has their own AI. The public AI that people use for...
Isn't the one that they won't release to the public called Mythos? Something about how it's too advanced or something. At least they're hyping it up like their AI they're using is so advanced that they don't think it would be responsible to release it to the public. I think it's called Mythos. The Democrat Party has the most drones. True. When two predator drones have babies, you get child predator drones. Oh no. Oh no.
Or the memes that is out there to the general public isn't like the AI that the military, of course, has here. Some people are making the argument that these are not aliens, these are not UAPs. This is advanced kind of tech here that's being developed in rapid pace with the technological advancements of artificial intelligence. Is that a theory that you think is credible here, or do you think it's not as significant here? Because as we know, the military is using AI for warfare more than they ever have before, as the United States talks about how they are kind of depending on it for the war in Iran.
Sure, I think that's very probable that anything that comes out into the public sector, our military had it first. Okay, that's guaranteed. The military had it first. So how long has the military been using artificial intelligence? Probably a decade. And there, as you rightly pointed out, their AI is going to be much more advanced than anything the public has access to. So, yeah, and with AI, I mean, imagine everything gets accelerated with artificial intelligence. Everything, any kind of technology that you have right now. Say you have some designs, some blueprints for some advanced drones. Well, AI can improve those blueprints. It can improve those schematics much quicker than the scientists who are working on the programs. So I do think that we're seeing an acceleration in the development of technology, human technology across the board in every developing nation, especially the United States, Russia, and China, and the United Kingdom to some extent. And we're probably seeing new technological toys being deployed.
He does get a little bit snippy. He does, Hamburglar. And by the way, thanks for posting that song underneath the this last Saturday's stream. By the Jars of Clay, that actually I forgot who requested that. I think it was Chops over there on Pill.net had requested that like I think a month or so ago. So like I had liked it. So thanks for posting that. Definitely one of those nostalgic sounds for sure. Oh, he was on Quite Frankly? I still have not gotten unblocked by Quite Frankly on Rumble. He doesn't know why, because I emailed him about it. I'm just like, hey, man, I don't know if I did something to make you guys mad or something, but I mean, I might have talked a little bit of stuff about Ryan Gable in one of the streams, but I listened to the Secret Teachings for a minute there until Ryan just kept talking about his Chinese girlfriend and he moved to China or something. I don't know. Anyways, still got some good information from him over the years. But I might have talked a little bit of stuff in a live chat once about Ryan Gable when he was on Quite Frankly. I don't think I earned a block.
In the last few years that
I'm not blocked on Pilled though. I can still comment and stuff on Pilled
that we've never seen before. And so you have a mix of things. There's a mix of things going on in our airspace right now. I have a friend who has a drone. And he has infrared on his drone. He lives in the Northeast, area of the United States, and he puts his drone up in the sky every now and again and takes a look around. And more often than not, he sees traffic, orbs. He's caught TR-3Bs, the triangular shaped
TR-3B. Where's Entropy Nomad?
There's a lot going on in the skies right now, a lot. So there's the traffic has certainly increased. Some of it is non-human. A lot of it is us at this point.
Yeah, I think so too, especially with what we're getting when it comes to admissions from this administration. I mean, you got Trump talking about laser weapons, discombobulators, heart sensors.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking shit about Dilly and quite frankly's chat, but Dilly is bitch made.
That have a specific rhythm and beat that are able to find anyone anywhere in the world at any time that the CIA is saying, look what we got. And I'm saying, if this is what they're coming out public with, imagine the kind of secret stuff that they have. I don't know if that ever kind of keeps you up at night or if you ever delved into those type of particular theories. But I think this could potentially, because I'm always looking for answers. I'm always digging through everything. And I think when it comes to this kind of UAP, UFO conversation that's been happening, my stance on it, and let me know if you think this is correct or not. My stance is I'm hypercritical and skeptical of government whenever they do anything. And I'm just going to wait to see what happens as a result of these disclosures. Then I think we could come to a conclusion about what's really going on here. That's my particular take on it, because I think a lot of people are delving out a lot of theories. I think there's a lot of disinformation.
I think what happened, and I emailed Frank about it. I think I had shared a link in the chat, and I think it might have been because Rumble has a thing that you can set to like auto ban if someone shares links in your chat. I'm fairly sure. So that might have been the issue, Hamburglar Helper. I honestly, I think that there was one time I might have got a little snarky about Ryan Gable in chat months ago, maybe a year ago. But it could have been that I posted a link because I'm fairly sure I think that's the last thing that I had commented was a link or something, because it was relevant to what they were talking about, and I shared the link, and I wasn't aware that they didn't want links posted. So that might have been what did it. It might have been like an auto ban. But if you could put in a good word, it would be nice to be able to comment and watch on Rumble and donate, because I like, quite frankly, I like the conversations. Man, it'd be cool to be on that show at some point. Huh. Might have to watch my mouth a little bit more. I don't know.
And I think a lot of people are also being fed and given.
Ryan Gable still has some merit. I haven't listened to his show in a long time. I actually got the books. My brother got a set for him and a set for me. 3 of his books. I've got them somewhere. I think it's on my bookshelf. The like encyclopedia of occult knowledge kind of stuff. I've got that book. I've got the dietary stuff one, and another one. I think we got 3 of them. And I mean, I've scanned through and kind of used one as a reference a couple times. But Gable was talking too much, like just very, very black pilled, and it got kind of old. And I'm just like, I mean, kind of, man, you're bringing me down. I like to listen to you for the interesting woo woo esoteric stuff. But yeah. Gable used to not be like that. I'll just say that. Maybe he's come back around to being not like that. I don't know.
Bad information in order to kind of create this kind of muddying of the waters. That's just my understanding of it. That's how I approached the topic. Would you mind sharing how you approach this topic? Because there's so much disinformation to fight too.
I think that's a reasonable approach. I think that we've been lied to so many times over the course of decades that our default response to anything coming from the government should be distrust. I think that's healthy. That's certainly the way that I look at it as well. However, we have to understand that this is complex. When you say the government, you're talking about people. We're talking about individuals. And right now, as it pertains to the UFO stuff, you have two
a cauldron out at the old
vying behind the scenes in this conflict. You have a secrecy faction and you have a disclosure faction. And the secrecy faction, they don't want to tell the American people anything. They don't think we have the need to know. They want us to be blissfully unaware of what's happening behind the scenes. They don't even want us to know the baseline reality, which is we're not alone in the universe, or at least we're not the only sentient beings inhabiting the earth, or at least trafficking through our airspace, the airspace of planet Earth, the atmosphere. That group is extremely active behind the scenes. They can't control the phenomenon. All they can do is control the narrative. And so there's narrative control, aggressive narrative control coming from that group. And that group's represented in every aspect, every facet of the government, from elements of the White House, the Pentagon, to the intelligence community, to the aerospace corporations. But then on the other side of the fence, you have the disclosure group. And these guys their desire is limited disclosure and congressional oversight. That's what they want. When I say limited disclosure, what they mean by that, because this is what they tell me, is they want to tell the American people that baseline truth that, yes, we've recovered craft, non-human bodies, alien technology. We're not alone. But they want to.
Of them was just U.S. military tech, clearly like a stealth B-2 bomber. One of them, they showed, I guess, what's supposed to be an alien, but very well could be just an old Indian man who was dehydrated. I don't know.
Advantage over our enemies, so they don't want to necessarily, show all of our cards and tell the world all the different kinds of exotic technologies we've derived from the crash retrieval stuff over the last 5 decades. That's limited disclosure. So tell the baseline truth, but keep our military advantage, our strategic advantage. And this group involves the members of Congress, I would say primarily, Congressman Eric Burleson and his team, including David Grush, who works with Burleson, but then also Tim Burchett, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, some people in the Senate who are interested in this topic. And then you have a constellation of characters around them. And Tulsi Gabbard was very, very interested in this topic and was making moves behind the scenes to try and find out the truth. You have interested parties who are.
I think I saw that her husband's doing okay. They did like a surgery where they removed a bunch of the cancer or something from her husband.
On the disclosure side of this thing, including at the White House, including Marco Rubio, including J.D. Vance, including Don Jr. I know Don Jr. isn't directly associated with the White House, but Don Jr. is intensely interested in this topic. Donald Trump is becoming increasingly more interested in this topic. And all of those people want to tell the American people the truth. Now, that doesn't mean that they know the truth. That means they're trying to figure this thing out because they don't have access. The President of the United States does not have access to the special access programs, and especially to the unacknowledged special access programs, the black programs. The presidents don't have the need to know. They're not read in. And I think that President Trump
the black programs, you say? Is it February still?
This point has probably been read in on some level, but that doesn't even mean that he has access. I mean, they're trying to do the best they can with the limited access and knowledge that they have. That's what we're seeing. So I don't think that this is an intentional misdirection. We have to be careful because you have Aero involved. Now, Aero's been kind of sidelined. Aero is the Pentagon's official UAP investigative body. And they've kind of been strategically sidelined in this process. Aero is releasing documents. They've been ordered to release photographic and video evidence that they have. But the White House specifically did not want Aero to control the process because I can tell you this, there's a lot of
Sartorius, yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on that. Yeah, I think Tulsi was removed. I think there were rumblings of that, and Laura Loomer was right, apparently. Fuck that bitch. Jigsaw-looking cunt.
People in Washington, D.C. who don't trust Aero, who think that Aero's a dog and pony show, and that the objective of Aero is not.
Laura Loomer is a case of broken clock syndrome. Broken, syphilis-ridden clock syndrome.
Not to tell the truth, but to obfuscate the truth and to misdirect the members of Congress and in fact, to quell further interest in the matter. And that's certainly what Aero's been doing behind the scenes. So you have a mixed bag of things going on here. I don't believe that Kash Patel is interested in deceiving the American people about UFOs. I think that he is scouring the files that they have access to.
Well, you got more faith in old counterfeit cash than I do.
to try and find something explosive so that Trump can truly be the disclosure president. And that's my sense. And I think Trump wants to be the disclosure.
Well, I hope he's right. And I hope he's right.
President. Remember that when Barack Obama kind of preempted him on the UFO stuff? What happened right after that? Trump came out and determined if there's going to be any presidents talking about this, it's going to be me. It's going to be my administration that does this. So Trump wants the truth out there. He wants to release the files. He wants the American people to draw the correct conclusion because, frankly, he may not know more than studied ufologists in this field right now. In fact, he may know a great deal less.
Yeah. So if Trump and Tulsi and Cash are fighting for these files, what agencies, because we know naval intelligence, we know RAND, we know MIT, we know all these other kind of scientific, but what specific organizations have them, and will public pressure or the public demand to release these files help or kind of be a detriment here? Because I'm kind of like waiting here for everything to kind of unfold here. Yeah. What do you think is the right process here, other than just kind of like waiting to see what happens here? Because it definitely does seem, as many members of Congress have described here, that there is a kind of internal war happening when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, there's a conflict, no question about it. So there are a lot of different organizations involved here, a lot of different agencies in regard to the secrecy. Of course, you have the CIA, who's there. And when I say the CIA, when I invoke any of these agencies, you're not talking about the entirety of the agency. You're talking about a...
Thank you to Troll over there on YouTube, by the way. One of the people commented over there. Kanye/Hunter 2028. Black don't crack. Yes. Lovely. That's great.
A wing of the CIA. You're talking about a group within CIA that has access, that has been read in. So there's elements of the CIA, of the Air Force, and of the Department of Energy. Those are the three big ones. But then you also have the Navy. You also have the NSA. I mean, it's spread out broadly. But again, within these organizations, there are small groups. I was with someone recently who worked at the Pentagon, and this individual has had eyes on the unacknowledged special access programs, the
Boomer looks like a real doll that was delivered to the hottest desert in the world and sat there for years. Thank you. Thank you for that image, Hamburglar Helper. I still have not made you a mod yet. I'm going to do that, damn it. Is there a way I can do that from the studio right now? I'm going to try.
The black budget stuff. He was involved in the allocation of funds, and he was read into some of these programs by his superiors. And I asked him, I said, how many people at the Pentagon do you think are read in? How many people? I mean, when I say read in, I mean to the legacy program, right? He thought about it for a minute. And there's thousands of people who work at the Pentagon. He thought about it and he said 20. Wow. 20 people. And so if that's the Pentagon, if only 20 people are read in at the Pentagon, how many people are read in at the CIA? It may be the same. Maybe 20 people at the CIA. Even if it's 100, that's still only a fraction of the people who work there. And it's the same for the Air Force. It's the same for the Navy. They keep this thing highly compartmentalized.
Thank you, Hamburglar Helper, for the repost.
Information consolidated into as few hands as possible. That's the way it's always been, to maintain secrecy. And the groups that know the most are probably the aerospace contractors. And the aerospace contractors don't know what each other has. They are kept in the dark in regard to what their competitors have. So Raytheon doesn't know exactly what Lockheed Martin has. There's no sharing. It's almost impossible to get anything substantial, because everything that is important in this field, and when I say important, I mean, I'm not talking about blurry videos. I'm not talking about the kind of stuff we've seen so far. I mean, the really, really important stuff is inaccessible to members of Congress and to the President of the United States and his cabinet, to the director of the FBI, to the SecDef, the Secretary of War. Pete Hegseth can't go in and say, hey, I want the alien files. He doesn't have the need to know, period. So this is a battle, and it's a back and forth. And Trump opened the can. And we have no idea where this is going to go. The congressmen don't know where this is going to go. The president doesn't know where this is going to go. It's kind of a free-for-all right now. So I think a lot of people, the sentiment, I think for most of the, especially the UFO community, is disappointment. Like, this is it. This is all we get. This is just a distraction. This is just, they're just lying to us. But I think that we need to slow down and remember where we were 10 years ago compared to where we are now. 10 years ago, had this happened 10 years ago, this would have been called disclosure. But because we've been so inoculated with, this very, very messy, slow rollout, the goalposts for disclosure keep moving, so that most of the American populace would not consider disclosure anything less than the president going to the podium and saying we're not alone and then showing some sort of a video of an alien or something. Now, I do know, by the way, that there is footage at the Pentagon of not just craft, but of alien beings landing and disembarking, specifically the Holloman Air Force Base incident that happened in 1964. They have footage of that. And that has not been shown to the Congress. I doubt the President of the United States has seen that footage. It's locked away. It's sequestered away somewhere at the Pentagon. And you need to, extremely high clearance. And you have to have the need to know to access it. So that's where we are.
Yeah, I have so many questions I just want to ask you based off what you're saying right now, because I had Tucker Carlson tell me a bunch of wild stuff surrounding this. But before even getting into all of that, I think a lot of people do have a lot of political fatigue. A lot of people's kind of response is, okay, aliens exist. All right, I got a lot going on. Grocery prices are still pretty high here. That's been the sentiment.
Understandably so, yeah.
As of course, we're being told people can't handle the truth. We need to bring the religious leaders together to warn their flock. And most people are like, whatever. And I think they're expecting, because Trump even memed this. He released an AI image of him walking with an alien. I think people now expect Trump bringing out an alien. But if I'm Donald Trump right now, right, one thing that I would do personally, and again, it's easy to say this because I'm just the kind of interviewer here, start an alien czar. Make one guy that gets all the different information from all these contractors, all this information, and make one specific head of this that answers to him. That's what I would say. If Donald Trump was listening to you right now, what advice would you give to him? What would you tell him to do specifically when it comes to dealing with this particular topic?
I would advise the president to do exactly what you just said, to find somebody that's highly competent, that can form a team around them, a UFO czar, that can bring in not just people who are part of the military industrial complex and the intelligence community, but to bring in some ufologists, not the circus people out there who are just trying to inflate their egos and aggrandize their names, but real ufologists who know where the bodies are buried, so to speak, who know what files to look for, who know the names of programs, because when I began to interface with some people at the congressional level some years ago, I realized that what was needed immediately, if anyone's going to tackle this topic at the governmental level, they need ufology 101. They need to know how the machine works, where the bodies lie, the scope of what we're dealing with here. And so I think it would be very wise for the president to, and I think he is, by the way. In fact, I know he is. So they are formulating I don't know if they're going to call it a UFO czar, UAP czar, but they are putting a team together. I can tell you that. And it's going to be...
So what's with all this, the religious leaders that came together and all that? And it's like, you can't keep dangling the dang carrot, Dangling the carrot's going to get people disinterested, which may be part of the damn op. It might be part of the op.
Parent, I think, in the next month or so that's happening. And Listen, the Trump administration, certainly the director of national intelligence, which unfortunately it's no longer Tulsi Gabbard, but at the time, Tulsi Gabbard, the congressmen and women working on this, none of these people trust the intelligence community. And I think this is what the American people don't understand. We just assume that Trump is a part of the intelligence machine. There have been presidents who were, like George Bush Sr., who was the director of the CIA. He was a creature of the intelligence community. But in this administration, and the individuals that are working in this administration, at least some of them, are not part of that intelligence secrecy apparatus. They're at odds with it, and not just on the UFO thing, on a bunch of stuff. The stolen election in 2020, for example. I mean, Trump had Tulsi Gabbard digging deep into that, and she's getting resistance left and right. Well, she was digging into the UFO stuff too, along with other.
There's, they have heart attack guns, and there are some very suspicious cases in the past where people that were trying to be a bit contradictory to the intelligence apparatus ended up with very, very advanced, very quick moving cancers. I'm just saying it's odd. I don't know for sure.
In on it. They're
mostly just talking out my ass.
Trying to figure out what the hell is going on. That's what they're doing right now. J.D. Vance the other day, famously, what was it, a month ago or so, when he was doing an interview, he said, when they asked him what he thinks aliens are, he said, I think they're demons, right? And then he said, this is the part that everybody forgets, he had a caveat to that statement. He said, now, I don't want you to get the impression that I have special information on this, because I don't. In other words, he's telling us, I haven't been read in on any of this. This is just my gut feeling. This is just my theological position. So these guys are frustrated. They want to see the same stuff that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality. And I think people are conflating this. It's very easy to make everything a binary, right? These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. These are the truth tellers. These are the liars. But in reality, this is an exceedingly complex situation, and it's being obfuscated at every turn by the deep state, what I call the dumb state, in reference to the deep underground military bases where a lot of these technologies being housed and reverse engineered.
Yeah.
And
I'm also very sad to see Tulsi Gabbard leave the DNI. I know she was working on a lot of different, very important bombshell type of stuff. Now, before she officially leaves, she's supposed to be allegedly addressing people and talking about some of her findings. Do you think some of those findings are going to include stuff related to UAP and UFOs?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be mainly about the 2020 election and the internal campaign to sabotage the first Trump administration.
Tulsi's already out, isn't she? Yeah, because they put fucking Pulte, a finance guy, in there. I have just no idea what to think about that guy. It doesn't sound like he's qualified at all. It just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully people know more than I do.
And the reason why I think that is because, so we have to remember that some years ago, I don't remember the exact year, but a number of years ago, David Grush came out.
June 30th.
Officially as a whistleblower after Lou Elizondo. And Grush did something very interesting. He went to the I'm trying to remember the position here.
Skiff?
I can't think of the name of the position right now. He went to the appropriate position at the appropriate person in the intelligence community, and he gave them sort of a dossier of the Inspector General. That's what I was looking for. The Inspector General of the intelligence community, and he gave that person a dossier of information that he was going to make public, and that he's going to blow the whistle about this information. He was interviewed by them, so they knew So one of the things that Grush was doing behind the scenes was providing the locations, the facilities where he knew or where he had reason to believe that some of these craft were being housed and some of these projects, these special access projects, were being developed. And he was providing that information to Congressman Burleson and others, to Tulsi Gabbard, to different people who were interested in this topic, who were trying to find anything out that they could. And individuals were dispatched.
What's up, Layla Decker?
Individuals were dispatched, I'm not going to say from where, within government, to go to these locations and to try and find these programs. And when they went on the bases, they were given access because it was a directive, in one case, by the way, a directive from Tulsi Gabbard, from DNI. And they went to the bases and there was nothing to see. They inquired about the programs. They inquired about any sort of exotic technology on behalf of Tulsi Gabbard in one case. And then there are other situations, congressional stuff.
I think some people say they just cleared the stuff out before they got there.
And they were shown nothing. They were told there's nothing to see here. Oh, this is really just, we're just developing, this is just, it was all conventional. It was all conventional. There was nothing exotic. Okay. And so I don't think that Tulsi Gabbard is going to reveal anything, because I don't think she found anything, to be honest with you. And I would not have expected her to be able to find anything, because, as I said in the beginning, Grush went and showed his hand. He had to in the very beginning. So they knew what he knew before he ever came forward. And there's no way that they were going to leave the assets in those locations. They're going to shuffle the board. It's a shell game. They moved this stuff around a long time ago. They're 10 steps ahead of the rest of the government. They just shuffle the board. They just reshuffle the board. And so if Congressman Burleson, for example, is trying to get access to some of these facilities, he can go to one of these facilities. I mean,
they need to go unannounced. They don't need to be letting anybody know about it. No texts, no emails, in-person conversations, just like skiff type setting where no devices are allowed, that you can, as much control as you can have over that. They need to, if they're going to go and look at some of these places where, spaceman like tech might be, if they announce it or if they let people know, they're gonna clean it up.
He can go to S4. Vice President Vance, he can go to Area 51. There's not going to be anything there because the intelligence community sees you coming a mile away.
Yep.
They're going to move all the assets. So, and they've got, by the way, they can move these assets. I mean, there are some that are very large that would be very difficult to move. And I think one of those specifically is not even within the continental United States. But the assets that are within the continental United States, it's not difficult for them to shuffle the board here. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sort of warning you and your audience, don't be surprised if reports come out saying, we tracked this down, we tracked that down, we went to this facility, and there's nothing there. This program doesn't it's just okay, they're 10 steps ahead of everybody else. And just because Tulsi Gabbard was the director of DNI, she didn't have access. She wasn't read in. And think about that. The director of national intelligence is supposed to be at the top of the pyramid.
Supposed to be.
They're supposed to have oversight over the intelligence apparatus at large. And they don't have a clue what's going on in this realm.
That sounds extremely frustrating. Like, I can see the frustration in your voice right now. And I feel it too, because it's like, it's my government, it's my tax dollars. I just want the truth.
Exactly.
And it seems like it seems like they're just stonewalling. And it just feels like we soon probably might be disappointed. I think it was Congressman.
But it's not your government in the minds of the secret keepers. It's not your government. It's their government.
Yep. Even though it's my money.
I'm telling you, that's the way they think. That's the way they think. The gatekeepers, the secret keepers, they don't give they could care less about the American people. To them, we're too stupid to be told anything. I'm telling you, that's the way it is. We're too stupid. This thing is too complex. It's too far along. The sheeple of America do not have the need to know. You guys just go to your ball games and play your video games and do whatever you do. And
bread and circus.
You sleep tight in your beds at night. We'll take care of this issue. We'll go out here and do these extraordinary things with this crazy technology. You don't need to know anything about it. That is the attitude. And I'm not saying that's the attitude of the Trump administration. I'm saying that's the attitude of the secret keepers at the CIA and at and in the Air Force and at the Department of Energy and so forth. That's the way they think about this.
Yep. And it's repulsive behavior, in my own kind of personal opinion. As I believe it was even Congressman Tim Burchett that talked about how he showed up to one of these military installations, that how they were initially denied access, how he had to call Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz actually called someone in the military, allowed them to actually have access when they actually showed up there. Congressman Tim Burchett has been saying a lot of stuff. When specifically asked about the breeding alien human hybrid program, he literally responded by saying that you'd be up at night if the things that I've seen are, quote, released here. Now,
you know what, though? We've been hearing that. We've been hearing that. And you know what? They haven't released it yet. So, Tim Burchett's great. I like Eric Burleson, fellow Show Me Stater, other side of the state. But, it's Anna Paulina Luna has had some interesting stuff. But you can't keep saying stuff like that, and then when the drops come out, there's nothing going on there. Yeah, you got your shield. There you go.
A lot of Americans are literally up at night, and they're up on the ships. In the hybrid breeding program of gray aliens, and that is a stone cold fact.
Yeah. No, I've been studying and looking into this for about 15 years. I've talked to a lot of people, even recently, that had their own kind of encounters and experiences. It's easy to kind of blow them off as like they're crazy people. But with all this other circumstantial evidence coming forward right now, with so many government officials coming forward right now, it's becoming kind of undeniable. Now, one of the other things that Tim Burchett talked about was 0.
Who is the king retard, though, Layla Decker? Who is the king retard? Is it me when I put the Burger King crown on? Possibly.
Energy that could bring an end to oil dependency. He kind of hinted at this at multiple interviews. Do you think that's one of the things that could be potentially unleashed here, which of course would lead to global ramifications that I think a lot of powerful people would want to prevent too? Is that one of the reasons why we might not be getting this stuff?
I don't know anything about 0 Point Energy. I think that it's possible, very possible, plausible, in fact, that we have developed we've developed technologies based on.
I did see he mentioned something about Ashton Forbes apology form or something like that. Which, I mean, if Ashton would have just stuck to the 4 orbs stuff in the flight, Malaysia Flight 370, I believe, that would have been nice. But he decided to start talking about politics, and he got mean. He just got mean with people. Like, you get a lot more flies with honey than you do vinegar, Ashton Forbes. And man, he just started getting downright hateful towards people. And I get being mad about your situation and not being, able to get further into it. But, you had some decent folks that were reaching out and kind of trying to interact with you from what I saw. And he was just hateful. Not good. Government operatives like Luke and this other guy. I know Lou Elizondo and Timothy Alberino talking about Lou Elizondo like he's worth a damn makes me very just like, what?
Alternate branches in science that the public.
Lou Elizondo is literally a former disinformation agent for the government.
Look, we have in the public mind, in the public domain, we have particular branches of science. These are the conventional branches. These are what people go to university to get trained in and get careers in. But there are alternative branches of science that I'm sure that have been opened up and explored by the military-industrial complex. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's been
something I think we definitely have to be aware of too, is that the intel agencies are going to use well-meaning individuals as unwitting, unwilling, unintentional misinformation and disinformation agents. So I think that this part of the PSYOP is releasing some wild stuff to these individuals in an effort to discredit them whenever nothing comes to fruition. So that's kind of what I think. Unwitting, yes. Yes, that's the word. Thank you, Sanglant. My thesaurus abilities were lacking at that time.
Major breakthroughs, and they're happy to let us continue to plod along on the oil-based economy, because what these guys don't want is disruption. They don't want disruption to the status quo, the established order. What's being protected here is an established order. Whether or not we're talking about zero-point energy that we developed from taking a Nikola Tesla track back in the 1950s or whatever, or whether this is just a bunch of technology we've been able to derive from the legacy program, reverse engineering alien craft and technology, it doesn't really matter. The fact is there's an established order right now. At this point, there is a breakaway civilization that is somewhat under control of government, somewhat not. There are aspects of this thing that are now rogue. And I know that to be true.
Thanks for the follow. See,
this is
the
guys that have the technology, the corporations, the things that they're doing are so beyond. They're so crazy that we wouldn't believe it if they came out and told us. And they would just prefer to keep it that way. Again, Americans, just do what you do, go about your daily lives, be happy, live your lives and blissfully unaware. We'll take care of this stuff. That's the attitude. We'll take care of this.
I'm like, no, thank you. I don't trust you. We need to know everything we can right now to understand our life and existence in this world, please.
I'm going to tell you something too. I have I'm going to be very careful, but I have a contact that I was talking to, and he conveyed to me that there's something going on in the background. There's some sort of a threat that they're repelling. There's like there's some kind of a conflict. And I'm not talking about the secrecy versus disclosure conflict. I'm talking about a kinetic conflict that's being repelled right now. There is some sort of a war happening somewhere. He was very vague, and that's part of the reason that they don't want to tell the American people. It's like it's maintain status quo. Don't inject chaos into the system. Don't add any sort of disruptive factor. Maintain status quo.
Is he talking about an information war from the sound of it? Or actual war? There have been some people theorizing, or hypothesizing rather, that there's some type of space war going on. That's why some of the drone activity increase might be that.
Because what's going on out there is mind bending.
Yeah,
that's what was conveyed to me.
Well, the status quo is already pretty chaotic. I don't think it's going to push the needle either way, to be quite honest.
Well, this is this is theater. What we see right now is theater.
I'm gonna get those headphones.
It's theater. So
Absolutely.
if you have a breakaway civilization using advanced technology, exotic technology that we don't have access to, then what are we doing here? These conflicts that we're having.
What are we doing?
Like
here?
you said, the geopolitical petrodollar system and all of this is all theater.
Yep.
It's all theater just to keep the masses placated.
Yeah.
And by the way, the masses include the president of the United States and his cabinet and the director of the FBI and everybody else.
Yeah. I have so many more pointed, directed questions that I want to ask, but I want to keep your sources safe. I don't want you saying too much here. I have two more questions that I think are pretty important to bring up here. But you brought up something fascinating that I wish we could delve into more. But I'm going to just respect your boundaries here so you don't get in trouble. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was what you just kind of described kind of happening here, whether it's kind of interdimensional, out of this world, in this world, underwater, or whatever it might be. But it does kind of, for me, make sense with everything that I'm hearing with the people that I'm talking to as well. And it's just absolutely wild and crazy. Now, before getting out of here, Congressman Eric Burleson came out today and talked about how the U.S. possesses egg-shaped UAP craft with time loss effects.
What?
I don't know if you've seen this.
When did that come out? Egg-shaped UAP craft UFO with time loss effects. I don't believe I heard about that. The egg-shaped UFO is a thing. I mean, I've seen stories about it and saw the thermal night vision or whatever. That was interesting.
Kind of latest admission. He was just on, I believe, Newsmax talking about this type of weird craft. Trump's talking about bending time. Trump's own administration is literally admitting that they have tech that could bend time.
It's a vibrating egg. Really?
In space. Do you think this is credible? Is this a red herring? Is time travel an aspect of this, especially with what Lucky Palmer had to say about this, kind of insinuating how there might be time travel associated with everything that we're dealing with right now?
I don't know if there's time travel associated with it, but there is certainly time dilation.
Mm-hmm.
And the egg-shaped craft...
I think when you involve gravity, if you're manipulating gravity, I think you kind of almost can't help but have an effect on time. I think gravity and time are very, very closely linked. Just a pleb though. That
Congressman Burleson is referring to. This was exposed on News Nation with Jake with oh my God, I just thought Jake Barber. I'm sorry, with Jake Barber, with whistleblower Jake Barber. He talked about the egg-shaped craft, and this is a known in ufology. These egg-shaped crafts have been seen many times, and it doesn't surprise me that there's time dilation. I mean, if you are manipulating gravity, if you create a gravitational bubble, for example, in which that encompasses the craft, the object, well, if you're manipulating gravity, then you're manipulating space-time. You can bend light, and you're manipulating the fabric of space-time. So that's why, for example, when pilots get in proximity to the craft, sometimes they experience time dilation and, among other things, radiation. But it's also why you can have a flying saucer, and this has happened many times, by the way, and I've friends that this has happened to. You can be out in your field. Let's say you've got some cattle. You're out in your field. You've got a cow out there. You're out, whatever, feeding your animals. You go back in your house. You come out 5 minutes later, and the cow that you were just feeding or whatever, that you were just in proximity to, is now dead, laying on the ground. All the blood has been drained out. There are precision incisions that are made around the ears. The tongue is taken out. The anus has been cored out. There's elements of this animal that looks like they have been surgically dissected with laser scalpels, and it just all happened with...
All about the tongues and anuses.
Within the time frame of 5 minutes. You went inside to get a drink, whatever, you came out. And how is that possible? Well, what actually happens is that animal was taken up onto probably a saucer, and inside of that craft, time is passing at a different pace because there's a gravitational field around it. So what looked like 5 minutes from the outside observer, inside of the craft, it might have been 20 minutes, might have been 30 minutes. That's time dilation because of the nature of the bending of space-time. So yes, there is a time aspect, but does it mean that these beings are coming from 50 years or 500 years in the future? That's a different thing altogether. That's time travel. And I don't know anything about time travel. I don't like time travel because it's chaotic. It injects too much chaos into the system. I don't know. I mean, I don't want time travel to be real. I mean, honestly, because it's just incomprehensible. And I'm not sure that it is. But time dilation, 100% for sure.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for answering all my questions, because I've been delving into this and looking into this. You have been as well in an extensive manner. We, of course, are going to put your YouTube channel up there so people can go check you out, go follow you.
Luke posts videos on Rumble, but isn't posting his big ones on Rumble. Who knew cow buttholes and tongues were an alien delicacy? Apparently.
I can't recommend people do that enough, because there's a lot of people in this.
We did talk of TR3Bs earlier, and I invoked your name.
space. Some of them are kind of kooky, weird. You don't know who to trust here.
Don't forget to smash that
a lot
repost
of the
button,
stuff
guys.
that you kind of brought forward is very fascinating, very interesting stuff. My last kind of question to you is, there's a lot of different theories. There's a lot of people saying that they know the truth. I'm always skeptical of those people. But when it comes to this kind of topic of just UFOs, some people explain them as interdimensional beings. Some people explain them as entities outside of this world from different galaxies. Some people are saying they're from inside of this world, a part of ancient civilizations that survived the Great Flood and are underwater. Some people are saying time travelers. Some people are saying this is a psyop. Some people are saying it's an advanced tech. Which one of those theories about what's happening right now with this larger topic, if not a combination of them, do you think is most true and relevant?
There's probably elements of all of them. But I will say this, the phenomenon at the baseline, the baseline reality is it is extraterrestrial. So whether that, because there's really no, I mean, fundamentally, there's no difference between extraterrestrial and interdimensional. I mean, if it's not from the Earth, if it's from somewhere else, it's by definition extraterrestrial. So it's the phenomenon is definitely extraterrestrial. Everybody I talk to behind the scenes, when I ask them the same question you just asked me, what are we talking about? Every time I do this, it's definitely extraterrestrial. It may be some of these other things as well, but it's definitely extraterrestrial. And that doesn't mean that the beings aren't here. They are. There's bases that have been here for a long time, under the oceans, in the mountains, for example, in the Andes Mountains, for example. But that doesn't mean that the beings originated here. They might have been here for even 10,000 years, but that doesn't mean they're
Entropy Nomad coming in hot with a $1 Rumble rant. Turn in the chat. A lovely, lovely shade of blue. We'll finish this out here in a second. But if this is for Sanglant, well, I have to do it loud, guys. I have to do it loud. Give me just one moment. Let me scroll down here. Freezing be damned. Thank you for that $1 Rumble rant, Entropy Nomad, for Sanglant. Yes. Yes, indeed. I hope it was loud. That when it's for Sangland, it has to be loud. The Galians! Look, he's trying to give him a kiss.
From here. They came here. They established bases. They've been here, perhaps some of them even longer than we have. So I guess at this point, they're as earthborn as we are, but that doesn't mean that the original provenance is from here. And so I'll reiterate, there's definitely an extraterrestrial component here. Nobody knows what the hell interdimensional means. We've never seen there's no proof whatsoever that you can travel interdimensionally. Or that there is an interdimensional world or whatever. These are all theoretical constructs. Nobody has ever seen another dimension, right? So is it
could we comprehend another dimension?
Possible? Sure. I'm totally open to it. But I don't understand why people will axiomatically reject the idea of an extraterrestrial, but yet fully embrace the idea of an interdimensional. When you can take a telescope and look at Mars, right? But there's no way you can see an interdimensional or an extra-dimensional world. There's no way to do that. You can't test it. You can't see it. You can't access it. But you can go by telescope. So
we're gonna wrap up after this. I do like Adonis Ball.
I'm kind of perplexed by that, but I do think there's elements of all of those things, or potentially the crypto-terrestrial. Are these some of this phenomenon maybe an advanced antediluvian race that survived?
Antediluvian is pre-flood.
Survived a cataclysm and that's been living surreptitiously.
Hamburger, I typically confirm the raid during the outro song. That's usually when I confirm the raid. Usually when I get to the first knife fish. That's usually when I hit confirm raid. And it's /raid and then space and then the URL. And then when you click comment in the live chat, it'll pop up with a confirm raid option. And I don't usually hit confirm raid until the first knife.
Inhabiting the earth surreptitiously alongside us. Is that possible?
Yeah,
is that in play here? I like what you said. Anybody who says they have the answer, they know the answer, that's the person you have to distrust.
Shit, that's from freaking conspiracy theory. We watched that last week. And that's one of the things they talked about it. The guy who's acting like he knows everything is the one that you shouldn't trust. Question that guy.
Because nobody knows what the heck is going on, except to say that
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
The phenomenon is physical. The craft crash. The bodies are recovered. They are non-human.
Show me the
technology is real. Okay? The only people who could tell you definitively that they know what this is, and maybe they don't even know.
Because if we're talking bodies, show us the alien.
Are the people who have been fully read into the program.
Talking E.T.
Have had hands.
Not interdimensional.
On the technology and have been interfacing with the beings. And that's very, 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 very few of us. It's certainly not me.
Yeah. Absolutely fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for all of your time. Again, the YouTube link is down in the description, so you guys could follow Timothy and all of the work and all the great stuff he does. Timothy, anything else you would like to say? And where can people follow you? Where can people support more of your work?
I'm on social media. It's always the same. My handle's at Timothy Alberino, my YouTube channel. I have a members community for people who are interested. I focus a lot on the theological side of this question, not exclusively, but so if there's Christians out there wondering how to make sense of all this theologically, the Alberinoanalysis.com, the Alberinoanalysis.com is a great place to get some of those questions answered, or at least explored.
Yeah. We never even got to talk about the Book of Enoch, aliens and demons. You got to come back sometime because this conversation is just absolutely critically important, I think, right now. And I think your assessment on it is pretty dead on. So thank you so much.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate all your time. If you appreciate this video, get it out there. Share it with your friends and family members. The truth is out there. The government usually is hiding it and holding it for themselves. We got to get public pressure. We got to get it out there. And that happens with all of us actually talking about it and making sure that the pressure is back on. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.
Well, there we go. There we go. I think that was a fun interview. Definitely food for thought. Hopefully we can chew on that. There's some claims. The thing that I do like about Timothy Alberino is stating that, hey, the guy who says he knows everything is the one you need to be wary of, which is why it stuns me that people in this environment don't question Lou Elizondo more. Anytime I see like Jeremy Corbell, like George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell, and then Lou Elizondo's with them on stage. Why the hell is Lou Elizondo with you? Like, I don't know. I like George Knapp. Corbell, I mean, there's some stuff that is like, yeah, it's legit, but then like, and then freaking Lou Elizondo, dude, no. Like, I'm not saying everything he says is a lie, but his job is literally disinformation agent. What am I supposed to do with this? Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, it's short. Sorry, I just learned that apparently my oldest child was at Nana's and just got her week this summer with Nana, and she was getting some mac and cheese out of the microwave and spilled a little bit of the boiling water on her face. Awesome. That sucks. She's okay. Probably gonna have a blister. But good God. Ugh. It's 11:30. What is she doing making... Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. It's been a good time. I hope y'all have enjoyed the information, the entertainment. Yeah, she'll be okay, probably. I'll check some images, I guess. I'm guessing my wife has some pictures. Not good news. I'm not happy to hear that, but hopefully she will be okay and doesn't have a scar that lasts forever on her face because of a macaroni and cheese cup. Okay. But yes, very fascinating stuff. Fuck the Israeli government for the USS Liberty, and fuck Lyndon B. Johnson and the Secretary of Defense, I guess, for covering it up. and calling off the rescue mission. Yeah, we probably should have just gone ahead and bombed the shit out of Israel at that time after that. Fuck them. Absolutely disgusting. And any American government officials that were involved in the cover-up need to be tried for treason and hung in public for it. 110%. No mercy. None at all for them. And to tell the survivors that you're going to be tried or that you're going to be prosecuted for speaking out, for telling the story, special place in hell for people like that, in my opinion. And that interview with Timothy Alberino about the UFO wars and stuff like that, I think there is a legitimate case of that going on. I think that definitely there are factions within the intelligence community that are saying, we can allow this, we can't allow that. Let's push this false narrative or that false narrative. Yeah. But, that's brazen treason. And you know what? We need to have a consequence for that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can hit the repost button. It's a very, very free way to support the channel. Hitting repost, liking the stream, commenting in the comment section. Commenting is caring. And if you can, spread the word of the Dozer Den when you're in different places. Let them know. Guys, I am going to eventually complete my sticker mule shop and start adding designs. I started one design. I think it's the Pick a Fucking Lane logo. I got one of the sticker designs, started it, and then I got distracted, guys. I squirrel here, and I squirrel in real life. It happens. But I need to sit down, need to make some damn clips for my live streams, for all my shorts. By the way, you should check my shorts out. I made a nice short of a sunset, a Missouri sunset. And, God, I'm glad it didn't get in her eye. But yes, shorts are cool. Check them out. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you all. We are going to play the Dozer Den theme song, and then Hamburglar Helper is going to try to raid. And I will be kind of interacting with the chat or watching the chat. Let me know when you have the raid ready. Typically, I wait to confirm raid at the first knife. So, yes, eat my own shorts. I will. I digest them regularly. All right, guys. Let's scroll down here. We're going to freeze for a second because we're in the media and Rumble Studio has still not fixed that. Let's rock.
Land of power, land of might, exceptional rage, endless fights, patriot bulldozer, leading the way, crushing all foes, making them pay.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Dozer Den, and thank you, Hamburglar Helper, for volunteering to be a mod and initiating the raid. Appreciate the heck out of each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a good one.